Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to begin to look at how to make charts in Excel. This is a great feature. Kids generally enjoy it. It's easy to learn, and it helps them look at data in another way. So here we go. To begin with, I've taken a survey of my class and I've asked them what their favorite ice cream flavors were, and I gave them a limited number of choices: chocolate, vanilla, cookies and cream, cookie dough, and then other. And now I'd like to convert this into a column chart or a bar chart. So I'm going to select the data that I want represented. Now I don't have to take all of it. If I wanted a subchart of chocolate and vanilla, I could just do this. But you need to indicate to Excel which data is to be included. When that's done, you're going to click on the Insert tab, and here are various types of charts that you can choose from. The one that I want is here, a column chart, and I can go with a 3D column chart or a bar chart so it goes horizontally, but I'm going to pick the simple one up here to start with. And there we go. My data is already represented. It's nice, neat, and clean, so already it's done a service for me. Now, it will then open up some predetermined formats. So by mousing over, you can see different types of looks you can get easily. But we're also going to be able to make adjustments to each of the components on the chart. So here's a title. These are bar objects, and I can format the whole group together, or I could click again and do any one individually. There are backgrounds, there are lines, there are labels. So any object on this chart can be changed. Before we go changing the design though, let's make sure we have all the components we want. So in order to do that, select anywhere on the graph, or I shouldn't really say anywhere, select in the upper corner away from everything else, and then here is a link to chart elements. Notice the plus sign because you can also get them here. When you open that up, you can pick the axes, you can put titles on the axes. A chart title, which we already have here, but if we wanted none, we could select none or we could delete it. Data labels, data tables. So there's lots and lots of different things that you can select from here. If you use the plus sign instead, it's going to show you which of these are already checked. So I am going to check my axis titles for both primary and horizontal and primary vertical. So you can see now that I've got two additional labels here called chart titles. I'm going to change the text in this one to say flavors, because that's what these things are. And this will say, since this is students, this is the number of students who have made these selections. And I always talk to the students as we're working with this that it's very important to label your chart. Your chart should be able to convey all the information you want it to convey without you being there to explain it or without a lot of additional text. Someone should be able to get all the basic information about what you're doing, where you've collected your data from a combination of the labels and the chart title. So we'll say favorite. And we'll say this is a 6th grade class that I teach, so that's the name of my class. So now I've given them good information, and now I've given them correctly spelled good information. Let's look at some other options besides axis titles. We've looked at chart title, and here are some data labels. If I mouse over that, you can see that it's giving me a count over each of the bars, which could be handy. And here I have options. I can put them inside inside the base, outside the end, little callouts, and there are even more options here that I could explore. Okay, I can add a data table to the base of the chart. I don't think I want to do that, but you can see that that may be useful in some cases. The other one I want to look at is legend. So you can see that it can create a legend for you, and if I look at legend options, they're basically, I can put them on the right, the top, the left, the bottom, and more options, although just getting it on the page would be great because I can move it once it's there manually. Now, this particular data label doesn't make a lot of sense, so I'm not going to choose it. Okay, once you have your basic chart created, you can apply all sorts of formatting. So I've selected the title. If for some reason I wanted that title to be yellow with an orange background, I could do that through this main menu bar, but I can also do it through my options over here. So we would access those directly by using a little paintbrush. And now you can see that I've got a fill color. It's a solid fill, and it's that orange color that I selected. There are shadow effects. So I can, I don't know, give it a little shadow, make it not very transparent so I can see it a little better, change its size, its blur, various other options, or glow, or some other thing of that nature. I can play with the alignment, the margins in here, so lots and lots of things. And these are the title options I've been playing with, but there are also text options associated with this. So now with text options, I'm looking at that inside text color. So now you see the yellow, the transparency settings. I could make them solid. I could make them, a gradient. So blending from one color to another. You can see it's slightly lighter on the top. You can play with all of these by choosing different colors. This is my starting color, so I'll start with bright yellow. And you can see that it got brighter yellow there. And then these are all the stops, so you can click on any one of them. And notice how that changes. There's a stop down at the end. I'll make that one black. And you can move them. So you can see all these things if you wanted to play with them, and the students love to play with them. But if you have that need or you have that desire, you can do that in here. Now notice that this is context sensitive, so the reason I'm playing with the title bar is because that's what's selected. If I selected another area of the graph, so now I've done the general background, you can see that it's got a solid fill of black. I could easily change that to a gradient fill. And now you can see that's affecting all of the text on the page. So that might be a better way to do it, honestly. It's going to save you some time from having to do elements individually. But it's a little busy for me, so I'm going to go back and just choose a color that will be clear and easy to see. Other features you can adjust, and I'm not going to go into detail on all of them. You can see that you've got lines. So you have some options in here you can play with. I can select the bars. The bars are currently set to automatic, but I can go to a solid fill color and choose that. I can go to a pattern. And you can individually select foreground and background colors on your pattern, etc. The gradient, which is very popular, I guess, or a good option. You have these stops in here. You can add additional stops with this, or you can simply remove a stop. And now I'm going from yellow to black. And if I click on that stop, I can adjust that here. I'm not making very good color choices overall, or at least I don't think so. And the other thing that you can do is you could click. The first time you click, it's going to select all your bars to let you format them in mass. But if you were to click again, you would be selecting a single bar, and that brings up an interesting option. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the internet, and I'll go to images.google.com, or get there any way you'd like, and I'm going to search for an image of vanilla. Oh, and there's a perfect one. So I'm going to save that image. I'll save it to downloads, that's fine. And I'm going to, excuse me, I'll pause the video for a second and I'll go get some additional pictures. Okay, if you'd noticed in the previous video, I actually misclicked and selected all files when I downloaded that picture. So I went back and I got the vanilla picture again, and I picked up some additional pictures. So let's see what we can do with those. So as a reminder, the first click that you make on a bar selects all the bars. The next click, and I'm going to start with vanilla, selects a single bar. Now from there, I can click on Fill Options, and this time I'm going to pick Picture or Texture Fill. Now I can use File to browse to my file and insert that in the bar. Now that's great. I've got some vanilla beans and vanilla ice cream right there in my bar. It does look a little distorted, and because it stretched it out to match the shape of the bar. If I click Stack, it's going to put multiple copies of the image in there, which is great. It actually represents very well what's going on here. And I can also stack and scale, so I can control how many images. Right now, there's going to be one copy of the image for each selection, and that's fine. But if this was a very big number, I might want to adjust that. I might want to say 2 or 10 or whatever it is that works. Okay, I'm going to pause the video again, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to enter my other pictures in here. So remember, you click on it so it's the only one selected. Go to File, insert it, and then to stay consistent, I will just go with Stack and Scale 1. Okay, so there's my graph. I've got my individual images in there. I'm not limited to adding images only in the bars. I mean, I could choose the chart itself. Go to Picture, click a file, there's an ice cream shop. And of course, this is not a good choice. It's not a good choice because it becomes very difficult to read with all the colors and backgrounds. I just wanted to let you know it's an option. Students, and especially younger students, will go to town on this. They'll love it. And they'll put so many graphics in there that the graph is virtually unusable. But it is fun, and if done correctly, it can be very, very attractive and effective. Okay, I'm going to do a second video on graphs and give you a couple of other examples of things that we could do without focusing on the formatting itself.